Want to move this up some? Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Just whatever you need to do, I'll move.
Yeah. Just let's scoot it to the side.
Okay.
I'm gonna come up a little bit more.
Okay.
Just trying to get him. Yep. Since he's by himself, it's gonna be closer to shop, which is cool. We'll be able to see it on here.
Keep this cold air in.
Move these out the way. Move that one out the way.
Which one?
Which one?
This?
Yeah. Move that. Yep. Boom.
What is this?
Let's go a little bit closer since you got up. Do that.
How's the cell phone? I thought I can hear it.
You seen
got about
this?
1 minute, Joe.
Do you want this on?
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Oh, because you're going to see it.
Turn on.
Okay. Nice.
Adjust your mic real quick so we know exactly how you want it.
Test. You want to turn the TV off?
The music, obviously.
Turn.
Kind of like the music, but
There's a fly in here.
You ready? We're about to come on in like probably like 30 seconds. Stand by.
I can't hear nothing.
You can't hear nothing? Is your headphones up? Plugged in correctly? 1 second. Can you hear now? Can you hear now?
Uh-huh.
Alright. Oh, 2 minutes.
Said 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Perfect.
affiliates are running late.
You saw the fly? Yeah, I gotta get rid of him. Nice.
You feel it?
Is it on?
Can you, would you be cool with that being flat? Your laptop?
Can I do what?
Would you cool with your laptop being flat?
What you mean flat?
Like instead of up, flat?
I ain't gonna be able to see.
Okay, alright. Talking to that mic again?
Test.
Crossing camera.
CRE digital type radio. You can put that mic right in front of you now if you want. Yeah. Put it right in front.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk with Joe Carlin. Special shout outs to the CRN Digital Talk Radio Network. You guys are awesome. You've always been awesome to me, and I really appreciate that. So, one thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to be on this show by myself. I want to talk about the reason that the mainstream, I guess, a popular Republican message does not work in inner cities, and more Republicans are losing it in inner cities. So with that being said, I mean, we can talk about the history of the Republican Party, and then we can talk about the modern times when it comes to the Republican Party and why the messaging don't work. And I don't really think that it's the messaging. I think it's the people behind the message that isn't working. So when we look at the history of the Republican Party, we have to, understand that the Republican Party was started to help black people become free from slavery, from indentured servitude, and involuntary servitude. And the majority of the black people who got involved in politics, whether it was the U.S. House of Representatives or the Senate, were black. There were no black people in the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party fought to keep slavery going. As a matter of fact, the Democratic Party started because they wanted to keep slavery going. And I don't think this is a concept that a lot of people understand, especially a lot of black people. And so when I hear black people say you're coon or all type of dumb stuff, because I'm a Republican, you got to think that you join the same party that fought to keep slavery. You join a party that created laws that are so disgusting, laws that have destroyed black people's family, black people's communities, everything about black life. The Democratic Party has been created to destroy that. I mean, we can go back to the 1820s. They had laws put in place that if slaves got away and the owners didn't go find the slaves, the owners will be tossed in jail and fined. A lot of people always try to tell me that, oh, there was this switch in the parties. There were a switch in this, there's a switch in that, and I don't even know why black people are so nice. They're so nice, like, oh no, everything has changed, everything is different. Didn't anything change? And let me tell you something. If the Democratic Party actually cared about black people, black communities, Latinos, Latin communities, then everything that they've done to us from the 1800s all the way up until now, they would have created some type of restitution for us. But they didn't. They wanted to keep us enslaved. They wanted us to stay on the fields. They didn't want us to have freedoms. They had advertising that they put up throughout different cities and different states that depicted black people as monkeys. Stupid, ignorant monkeys. And I take extreme offense to that. It's ridiculous. But we're going to dive into some history today. And I want you guys to stay tuned because it's going to be a pretty interesting conversation. I think a lot of people are going to be upset. Stay tuned. We'll be back. I just wanted to listen to the music for a second because it sounds good. But anyways, getting back to it. The Ku Klux Klan was started by the Democratic Party back in the 1800s. And it is not a secret. This is not a secret that these things happen. And they had action plans that would help Democrats continue to win elections in different states, because black people were then voting Republican. They were Republican because nobody wanted to be a part of the party that was created to destroy black people if you're a black person. So when I hear black people tell me like, oh no, they switched, that the Democratic Party isn't like that, and all of this BS, when it's still proven that the Democratic Party is like that. I mean, Nancy Pelosi wanted to erase every single piece of racist history in America, but they won't get rid of the racist history of the Democratic Party, which means you have to get rid of the Democratic Party. So they fought to keep us enslaved. People talk about a switch because, you know, there was a president who signed the Civil Rights Act and he was a Democrat, so all of a sudden that gave everybody the impression that the Democratic Party favored black people. And that's the most false narrative ever. Because if you go back and you look at the history, that Civil Rights Bill was only passed because every single Republican was on board with it. It wasn't passed because every single Democrat was on board with it. Hell, if the Democrats was on board with the Civil Rights Bill, then they would 100% agree with having that bill signed, but they didn't. It was less than 40% of the Democrats that were in office at that time signed on to that bill. Just because the president who put it into law, who bottom-lined it, was a Democrat does not mean the Democratic Party somehow switched. So my thing is, even when we're talking about the Democratic Party, even if they did switch, I mean, come on, hypothetically speaking, I'll play your game, right? How come they haven't given any restitution to black people and black communities? They love us so much, right? I mean, like, look at Joe Biden, for example. Joe Biden passed, with the help of Bill Clinton, who, you know, God willing, he goes to jail soon for raping them little kids. With the help of this man, passed the most heinous bill that targeted people in inner cities, the crime bill. The crime bill incentivized mass incarceration for black and brown people in urban areas. They have bills that economically disadvantaged communities, like South LA, the one I'm running in right now. They have done absolutely nothing to give back. They've done nothing to right the wrongs. Nothing. So any black person that tells me, I understand you're a Democrat out of heritage, whether you're a moderate or you're far left or you just agree with this whole entire platform. But think of this. Name something that the Democratic Party has done to help black people and black communities. Because I can name thousands of things that they've done to destroy black families and black communities. And I ask people that question all the time, and the answer is still the same. They always say, well, the Republican Party didn't do anything. On the contrary, my friend. But I'm a Republican because of the history of the Republican Party. I'm not a Republican to be a part of any boys club, to be a part of their, you know, their grand scheme, to be on the inside. For me, it's purely about the history of the Republican Party and the values of the Republican Party. That is what brings me to the Republican Party. And I think that's the same thing that brings a lot of people to the Republican Party. The reason why the Republicans are losing in the inner cities is because, for one, they're non-existent. They've allowed Democrats to run urban areas for a very long time. And so people only know the Democratic Party. And then when you do get people who are Republican coming into the inner cities, they want to shove a message down the people in the inner city's throats as if their personal ideology or their personal ideas of what the Republican Party is fits anybody who lives here in the inner cities. And I think that when people do this, what you tell me is you have no respect for how people in inner cities feel. You have no respect for how Latinos feel. You have no respect for how black people feel. You have no respect for how, you know, white people who live in urban areas feel. Because why should we subscribe to a message of a party that is non-existent in our communities? Why? It sounds great. Oh, well, the president did this and the president did that, but the president is not coming to the inner cities. Yes, he has black people go to the White House. Yes, he has Latinos go to the White House. But he has never stepped foot in South LA. I don't know any prominent Republican who has stepped foot in South LA. I don't know any prominent Republican who has stepped foot in Chicago, Detroit. Flint still doesn't have good water. New York. Dense Democratic areas. But yet, everybody want to win in these areas, but they don't want to step foot in it. So now you got a guy like me who's running for Congress against Waters in South LA. We kicking our ass in fundraising. We kicking our ass and being popular in the district. But because I don't subscribe to the mainstream Republican message shoving that crap down people's throats, I don't get the support that I need. My support comes from the people. And I read the comments on Facebook, I read the comments on Instagram, and people, oh, well, you got paid to do this, you got paid to do that. First of all, I'm retired from the military, right? Nobody pays me to do nothing. We raised $3.14 million in this race. $2 million the last 3 months. Yeah, we had our problems at the beginning of the beginning of our race. We ironed those problems out, and we moving methodically. And we are killing it. But I don't want to preach that mainstream Republican message that everybody is talking about in the inner cities because it does not fit. One thing that we should talk about in the military is that you have to take care of home first. If you don't take care of home, then you cannot be focused on the mission. So everybody want to focus on the mission without taking care of the people at home. What do you mean by that, Joe? Well, we live in a dilapidated community. We have a lot of gangs in our communities. We have a lot of drugs in our communities. We have distrust between our communities and the law enforcement. We don't have opportunities. We don't have economic opportunities in the inner cities. But we're supposed to preach this message that everybody wants us to preach as if there is a handbook on how to be a Republican. A winning handbook on how to be a Republican that we're supposed to go by to get people to turn from Democrat to Republican. When we have people who can't take care of their bills. We have people who can't take care of their children. We have people who are out of work. And everybody's quick to say, well, you guys have the same opportunities as everybody else. It's BS. Because there are no opportunities in the inner cities. We have some of the worst schools. We have some of the most expensive housing. We have some of the sorriest jobs in America in inner cities. We don't have manufacturing plants in here anymore. We don't have, tech here. We have aviation. And a lot of people don't even subscribe to aviation community, even though this is a community that we're working with to create quality jobs. So as a black person, as a black Republican, why do I need to subscribe to the message that these people are pushing? And what in the entire hell makes them think that this message is going to work on the inner city? And we're going to continue to talk about that. Because I'm blown. My mind is blown. But we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. And then we're going to come back and talk about why this message is not working. And we also need to talk about why people in the Republican Party are not being influences in the inner cities if we have all of these ideas. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Since he's by himself, he can move up a little closer. I don't have to move yours.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's perfect. You said that's perfect, right?
It's okay. You're killing it.
I'm only getting started. That's a cool commercial. I think I need to buy another plug though. I think I need to buy another plug to get that in there.
Plug looks fine.
Yeah. Well, no, because if I unscrew it, I can't get the wires to connect and stay put. Inside the plug
Or
part.
inside here?
Yeah, so you can easily pull those out. If I just left them there.
I'll look at it.
Yo, Danny had you on point, man.
Didn't he? Bro.
Gosh! You got 20 nuggets! I bet you didn't get no sauce.
I was dying, bro. Nah, it was bro, people don't know I was in the studio when he was doing it.
Yeah,
and I was in the back dying laughing. I couldn't even help it. He's like, did you hear the one where he was saying he broke his own leg?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
I was
So I
dying.
broke my own leg.
So I have to wait in line. Oh my God. Yeah. He was on point. That was I watched it like 100 times, bro. I make these videos on my show. I'm a pretty intense guy. Someone did a parody of me mocking me, and it was just on point. It was so
It was
funny.
really good.
Yeah.
He's really trying to be a comedian?
Yeah.
Really? I'm gonna get him on my show and see if we can hang talking shit.
Yeah, definitely. Put him to the challenge. He ready for it.
Really? We're gonna see.
Like a kid, he's just fire. Hold on. Put your mic up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yep, you hot.
Alright, you guys, let's get back into it. So, I have social media, and you know, I hear everybody else's comments. I see everybody else's comments. I mean, you know what's crazy? There are a lot of people who think that they can talk behind your back and you're not gonna know. And I'll call some of these people out, but I don't want to give them no fame. You know what I'm saying? But they make their Facebook posts, they make their Instagram posts, and they dog black Republicans who are running in inner cities as if they know how to run a race in the inner cities. And my thing is, I've never seen any of these people in the inner cities. Never. And we're out here all the time. You know, we've made it so that Republicans can come to the inner city, especially in South LA, and feel 100% comfortable knowing that people understand that we're going to have their backs. Right? So they make comments because, yes, I'm a black man, and being black is important to me. And when people see me, I want people to recognize the fact that I am a black man running for Congress in the inner city that I'm from. A city that I'm from. Born and raised. I grew up down the street from my office. I want people to understand that I am a black man that is a Republican, that does support the president in the inner cities. And we are making headway on winning this race. I mean, we're going to win. But why is it that I have to preach this message that people who've never been to the inner city preaches? How come I have to listen and I have to agree with people messaging for the inner cities when they have never been here before? And then people are like, oh, well, you have an issue with Candace Owens. So what? And I don't have an issue with Candace. I don't even follow Candace. I don't even know this broad. My issue was not with Candace. My issue is with what she said about people who are murdered by white people and cops who are from the inner cities, who have a police background, a criminal history. That's what you want to call it. After she just made a lot of money by talking about how policies of the Democratic Party destroyed black families, black communities. So these are not, in my opinion, criminals, especially when they're trying to get their life together. These are victims of those policies. That was my issue. And if she felt so strong about it, instead of teaming up with a bona fide criminal to try and bash me or do her best to try and make me look bad, what she should have did was accept my invitation to come to the inner cities and preach that message and see how people from the inner cities feel about it. Because if I got to have a principal tell me, oh, is this how you feel? Is this how black Republicans feel about black people who have criminal records trying to get their life together? Telling me these things, then I already know we're going to have a problem. And this is America, first off. I don't have to like anybody. I don't have to like you if I don't want to. I don't have to transcribe to the same message being a Republican if I don't want to. I fought in the military. I served overseas. I did a boots on the ground deployment in 2008 to Iraq. I fought for the right to do whatever the hell I want to. And I'm going to say this again. This is America. Hell, I got to listen to somebody who's never served in the military for it. Why I got to listen to somebody who has never had to fight for anything in their entire life? Why do I have to agree with somebody on a Republican platform message? That's not even the message of the Republican platform. It's an individual ideology. Why do I have to subscribe to that just because I'm a Republican and there are other black Republicans? Nobody has been to the inner cities except for Larry Elder. That's why, I listen to him all the time. And I've spoken to him a few times too. And I have a lot of respect for him. Because he doesn't back down from any challenge. He's been preaching the same thing for a very long time. He's been active in the community whether people like him or not. That's why you never hear me say anything bad about Larry Elder. The guy's message is on point. It's right. We have to pick ourselves up. We have to utilize every single opportunity that we have to be successful. The only problem that I have with that is we have so many Democrats that have been running our city for a very long time that has failed to provide the economic advantage that we need, economic opportunities that we need, improved education that we need for us to be able to pick ourselves up. I've been all over Fox and all these different networks, TV shows, talking about businesses have been failing since COVID-19. Man, black businesses have been failing way before COVID-19. COVID-19 was just the eye God shined on our communities that shine the light on what's been going on for a very long time. This ain't because of COVID-19. This is from sorry-ass legislators like Maxine Waters, like Adam Schiff, like Nancy Pelosi, like this crappy Governor Gavin Newsom that we have, whose sole purpose is to put money in their pockets while leaving everybody behind. I wouldn't have a problem with Maxine Waters if everybody in our community was thriving, if she was getting her money. But the fact of the matter is we're poor. We've been poor for a long time, and I'm sick of people being in our communities being poor. I'm sick of our educations being poor. I'm sick of our housing being poor. I'm sick of the jobs being poor. I'm sick of Maxine Waters is a poor person, and we're going to get into that as soon as we get back. I'm about to take a break. Stay tuned. It's getting real.
Getting real. You're getting hot. That was fire. Hey, bro, I didn't realize. I'm looking at your waves. I'm like, he dipping on the screen, though. Look, you got the dish rolling.
I ain't even brush my hair.
Okay, you wear webcam at night, bro? You go webcam at night?
I wear it every night.
Do you? Yeah,
and I put Cantu oil and pink hair oil moisturizer.
You wear like the regular one or like a silk one?
Silk. The regular one does me no justice.
It don't do nobody justice, bro. It gives you that line on your forehead you don't want.
Exactly.
That's funny.
So yeah, I have the silk one. When I haven't took care of my hair in a long time, I'm gonna cut it tonight.
You cut your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Cause I don't be having time, and sometimes I need a quick fade up. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing's open,
huh? Even I started cutting my hair back when I was like 14 years old because we were too poor to go to the barbershop. At first the price was like $8. Now I used to go to the barbershop. I used to walk up here. I stopped going because I always had to get in fights on the way home. But barbershop like $8, and then as you get older, it's like $15. It's like $20, and like
$50 now.
Really?
Heck yeah.
Tell that story.
Man.
Cause I become honest, I was 15 because my dad just didn't want to pay for them.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for no haircut. I'd rather buy some clippers. He'd rather make the investment, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, which, hey, he taught me how to cut my hair.
Hey, there's nothing open anyway. Even if you want to go cut your hair right now.
People get their haircut though. It's a lot of like.
But you gotta do it on the DL.
You gotta do it on the DL. You gotta buy appointment. There's no walk-ins for sure. You definitely gotta have your appointment going.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I remember I tried to go to Supercuts one time, paid $35.
Why would you do that, bro?
I was in Fresno.
It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter.
They didn't have black barbers.
Bro. No, bro. You never go to Supercuts. You never go to Supercuts.
He learned.
Yeah.
I just stuck to what I know. That was cutting my own shit.
Man, he's on fire.
Nah, it's when you by yourself, you can really get into it too sometimes, you know. I'm about like my show's by myself, and I can really get to where I really get into it. So, nah, switch up for them too. He ain't gotta, you know.
No preparation, no. Yeah.
You don't have to
A
deflect.
lot of stress last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's been texting me.
Oh,
Elijah.
who was texting me?
Elijah Penny.
Oh, he was texting me. Yeah.
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 He's cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I hooked him up with a few
I didn't
guys
realize
for,
he's in my movie.
Oh, is he?
I used him as an extra. He showed up in a big suit, and I was like, what the fuck do you show up in a suit for? You gotta put on a blue rag and be a crip. Come on, man. I didn't realize he's like some.
They really did a good job on the office. I'm really
Oh,
excited
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You sound like what?
On the office, they did a really good job. I just gotta get this room squared away. Those lights can be really good once we get them hooked up. Maybe shine it directly on here, so we'll have this one, but we'll have a brighter lights as well. I bought this piece of shit light, but I forgot that this is 30-watt light bulb. I should have got a 100-watt light bulb. Air conditioning's pumping in here too. It's pretty good.
Where's
It's
he
working.
coming from?
Huh?
Where's it coming from? Oh, okay.
This isn't doing anything. This is like good.
That's way better.
That's
Yeah, I just got that one on to circulate that air.
no,
That's
absolutely.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
working.
You ain't even hot in here.
I bought a 15,000 BTU air conditioning, window air conditioner. I had the guys pull that fan out of that top thing in the back and cut the hole a little bit and shove the air conditioning unit in. And then I
Who
had
climbed up?
D.
10 seconds. You hot.
So everybody, I just want you to know I'm drinking coffee out of this cup, and it's not Starbucks. But if you go to thecollinstore.org, you can be able to buy all your Joe Collins for Congress merchandise. This stuff, it's some really good quality stuff. Really good quality stuff. But back to what I was saying, COVID-19 is not what destroyed businesses. Our poor legislators is what destroys businesses. Because one thing that every single business business in the inner cities have is that they are small businesses, and so they have no financial literacy. A lot of businesses don't have any financial literacy. I mean, like, we didn't even get the PPP that was rolled out, but you have major universities getting, you know, millions of dollars in this paycheck protection program, or these business grants and loans to keep their businesses open. Now, I don't know why a school with a $42 million endowment needs extra money, but they were able to get it. Meanwhile, you know, we're suffering here in California. And a lot of people don't think that, and it's not even that I think Democrats are the problem. Yes, they have a serious racist history, and I would never be a Democrat because of the racist history of the Democratic Party. And what I mean by history, I mean everything from 30 seconds ago and back, all the way to the 1800s, right? That's the history, because we're in the present now. But that's like, and I give people this analogy all the time. The reason why I would never be a Democrat, because I grew up in a Democratic household, is because for me, you know, you got a history of being racist as hell. I mean, you guys killed black people on a regular basis. I remember I used to get in trouble in the military. I used to try to talk to me when I was in the military about posting history. Everybody want to post about 9/11. They want to post about Christopher Columbus, but they want to forget that, you know, you have white Democrats hanging black people from trees and shooting black people and taking pictures with them for a very long time, as if this history is going to go away. It's never going to go away. Racism was built into the very fabric of America. So is immigration. So this is a history that we have to live with on a regular basis. And I would never, ever be a Democrat again, because that's like, you know, would you date somebody who have AIDS? Absolutely not. Well, if that person, you know, 100 years later, 20 years later came back and said, hey, I don't have AIDS anymore, would you want to date me? 10 times out of 10, the answer is still going to be hell no. Just because of the idea that you used to have it. So the idea that the Democratic Party killed black people for fun, created legislation that targets black people, created legislation that targets minorities, Joe Biden, right? Created legislation that in incentivized mass incarceration, Bill Clinton, the idea is still there. So just because you give an apology doesn't make me feel no better about what you did in the past to my people. So I would never be a Democrat because the idea is still there. And if the idea was there before and this is what you did and history repeats itself, you're going to do it again. And that's exactly what they've been doing. Only this time, they're not hanging black people and murdering black people in the streets literally. It's called paper genocide. They get you wrapped up in all these laws and contracts and everything. And if you don't follow the laws, and they throw you in jail. They want you to sign these contracts and we're going to give you all these benefits and privileges. And then in return, they take away your rights. The game didn't change. The only thing that's changed is the way the game is played. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at the history. I don't give a damn how many times Joe Biden get on TV and apologize for that crime bill. He never did anything to repeal it. So he can't be that sorry. I don't care how many times the Democratic Party talking about, oh, well, we like black people. I can't tell because you guys just never gave any restitution for the things that you did in the 1980s. The KKK is still here. Those laws that were put in place, the redlining laws, those things are still here. Crime bill still here. 3 strikes law still here. Crack law still here. You took jobs out the inner cities and put crack in the inner cities. Only thing Maxine Waters was able to do was to get the CIA to admit that they did it. But she never did anything about it. Nobody cares about no damn apologies. What we want is to right the wrongs, even if it means getting rid of the Democratic Party. Now back to the Republicans. The reason why the Republicans are losing in inner cities is because they don't understand what's going on in the inner cities. And the way I know this is because I'm a black Republican from the inner cities. And I see that they don't understand. I went to Minneapolis after George Floyd died, and I see people comments, oh, he's Black Lives Matter. Idiot, I'm not Black Lives Matter. I don't care about the organization Black Lives Matter. And I say this all the time. But if Black Lives Matter in my community, guess what? As a leader, I need to get in front of Black Lives Matter, find out what's going on, hear the people, sit in the middle, and come up with a resolution to fix this problem. But no, people don't want to do that. They want to talk trash about Joe Collins. Joe Collins who's winning in his race. Joe Collins who's polling at 69%. Joe Collins who's raised $3 million. You want to sit and talk about me as if you have the playbook on how to win. Meanwhile, I don't see none of these cowards out there. You want to go to your safe space and you want to protest, reopen California with everybody who already agrees with the same stuff that you agree with. Stand up and go to your conventions and preach the same message in front of people who are already going to agree with you. But when the last time you got in front of a rally? I shut the entire rally down in downtown LA because we were working with the police officers to find some resolve. That's why you don't see California burning like you see all these other states burning. We're not having it. And if we see Antifa and all these people who have infiltrated the Black Lives Matter movement coming back, trying to do anything other than rally, you start destroying our buildings, I promise you. I'm getting gang members, and we're coming down there and we beating you down. Because we don't want our cities destroyed. We don't want that at all. And the reason why I said gang members is because I know I'm not going to find too many Republicans who's going to stand with me in front of Antifa. All y'all going to do is get on Facebook and Twitter and make posts and comments and talk about what Republicans do and don't do. Republicans don't go out and protest, and you with Black Lives Matter. First of all, that was my protest that we put together. So you guys want to talk about Major for being out there, Major Williams. You want to talk about Robert Foster for being out there. You want to talk about Angela Stanton King. People who are actually out there making a difference. You want to talk about us. But where are you at? On your computer? And we're going to talk about that. We definitely going to talk. We're going to get right into it. We're about to take a break. Stay tuned.
tell them what hood you gonna bring out there, man.
Huh?
You gotta tell them what hood you gonna bring out there.
All of them. all the gang members. You know, that's the reason why the rioting has stopped and everything. You know, the gang members started whooping their ass.
No, yeah, and everybody like Antifa didn't get too far with this time.
No.
It was shut down real fast.
These people are not to be fucked with.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Don't like taking credit. We don't want credit for other people's bullshit. Nobody wants that.
No.
Nobody wants that. I'll take my own credit. No, I can do this.
So people want to be upset at us for getting out in front of these rallies. But this is what leadership is about. Leadership is not sitting at home and talking trash about what's going on in our communities without doing anything. If you're going to talk trash, get out there and get involved. Find out the reason why these people are destroying things. And then try to help come to a resolution. When we went to Minneapolis, we didn't just go to Minneapolis and talk to the people. We went to Minneapolis and we told them that we lived in the 92 riots. That was our community. That was our home that was being destroyed. You don't have to destroy your community in order to get things done, in order to get your point across. That was our message. Where are the leaders? Where are the leaders? The leaders who create these laws, the leaders who is allowing these things to go down in your different communities. Right? We always want to talk about first thing, oh, he's a Democrat, he's a Republican, he's this, he's that. But the leaders are not coming out to these cities. This is why it doesn't matter who I get on. I'll get on Maxine Waters just as quick as I'll get on Kevin McCarthy. Because leadership is important, and leadership is what we don't have in our communities right now. I haven't seen Maxine Waters get out anywhere. But I also haven't seen any other Republican so-called leaders get out and get in front of these crowds either. Tell them to go home. Tell them that we're working on a solution. Doesn't matter if you don't like the mayor. If the mayor is the person you have to work with to get things done, work with that guy. Doesn't matter if you don't like the police. If the police are the people who you need to work with to get things done, work with them. But trying to criminalize people who are standing up and being leaders is the last thing that you need to do. Period. And this is why Republicans are losing. Because instead of getting out here and helping, you talk trash. You don't want to support the person who is killing it in their race. Black people tell me that Republicans are paying me to run this race. I'm getting my money from, President Trump. I'm tap dancing and cooning and doing all of this stuff. White Republicans tell me that, oh, Republicans don't do these type of things and all of this stuff. My question is, if there are so many Republicans who know how to win a race, who knows how to run a race in South Los Angeles, then why has Maxine Waters been here for over 30 years? That's my question. If anybody want to make a comment and tell me why, I would appreciate that. But from my understanding, all of you guys are rookies. Nobody knows anything. I have Democrats on my team. I have Republicans on my team. I have Libertarians on my team. I have Independents on my team. Because one thing that I understand that a lot of people don't understand is that when you are running for Congress, you want to be a representative, you're not just representing Republicans. You're representing everybody in that district. Democrats, Republicans, independents, people who like you, people who hate you, everybody. You are their representatives. So as a person who are representing someone, it would behoove you to listen to everybody. Find out why they're in so much pain. Find out the underlying causes. But nobody want to do that. Which is why Republicans lose in inner cities all the time. Nobody comes to the inner cities, yet everybody have the right idea about what inner cities need. So let's try to be more visible. And let's try to cut down on the chatter and actually get out here, stop being scared, and start helping people who are running these tough races. I don't have any support from anybody except for the American people. I have a lot of support from the people in my communities. I have a lot of support from people across the United States who are donating to my campaign. A lot of people want to see me win, not just because they don't like Maxine Waters, but because they want to see our black communities thrive. Open Secrets has us labeled as one of the hottest races in 2020 because we raised a ton of money as if I've already been in office. We're working hard as if I've already been in office, but I can't even get the support from the NRCC. I can't even get the RNC to throw support behind my campaign. And mind you, I've donated to all these organizations. I've donated to RNC. I've donated to CAGOP. I donated to LAGOP. But we can't even get any volunteers. I think it's because they're scared of Maxine Waters. But everybody want to talk tough. Everybody want to talk about, oh, I would have did this, I would have did that. You wouldn't have did a damn thing. Because if you would have, you'd have done it the past 30 years she's been in office. Why do I have to get out the military to come back and fix my city? As a Republican. When we have so many Republican geniuses that could have been doing this for a long time since you guys got all the answers. Why does me, as a Republican, have to get out the military and bridge the gap between the people and the Republican Party in order to make something happen, when this party has been here for a very long time? In California, I got a lot of protagonists talking trash, and I love it too. Keep my name in your mouth, because you're not hurting me. You're only making us better. You're making us stronger. Everything that everyone has said about me running in this race, from, oh, he's a plant from the Democrat Party, he's a plant from this. No, this is my community. I grew up in 104th and Normandy. The next major street over from where my office is where I grew up at. My grandfather used to have a church in this community. A lot of pastors came up under my grandfather in this community. I used to run these streets. I had my first fight down the street from where my office is, at the McDonald's. I had my second fight right across the street from where I had my first fight from. I'm not a plant. I don't care how many times people say I changed parties. This is America. I change parties if I want to. But I'm a Republican, and this is where I want to be at. Not because somebody's paying me, not because somebody's doing something, but because this is a choice that I decided to make. This is where I belong, and I feel like your political party preference is your choice. But we about to take a break. Stay tuned. How many more segments we have? It's the last one. They had a protest in front of Maxine Waters' office and stuff like that. I was going to go to it. We drove by. It was trash. There was like 4 people out there. We kept driving. It was more cops than it was people protesting.
Let's get 50 dudes. Let's get 50 people to register for the Republican Party.
How we can do that?
What's that dude that was outside Daryl? I'll call him
Uh-huh.
and I'll say, look, you wanna help? Get us 50 dudes,
Yeah.
young people, 18 to 25. Come shake Joe's hand.
We need to do a voter registration drive.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
Get 50 people.
I mean, a lot of people.
Film it.
I wanna do it. I wanna plan it. I wanna do it.
Good.
And here at the office, I wanna get a lot of people to come out. I wanna do it at different locations and stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna reach out to them and say, let's do it in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
You're in town, right? Okay.
On Tuesday and Wednesday, me, you, Robert, my dad, we'll be at the other office. We'll be working on a lot of stuff, a lot of commercials and everything.
Okay.
And we got to get the video. We got to get the movie together for movie night.
Yeah. What do you need for that?
Huh?
You just want to cut out the swear words?
Just no. We just want to go through it,
Okay.
go through it, and chop and cut, condense it. That that shit sold out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sold out.
Of course. You're a celebrity.
Yeah. We got
What you
people.
got, we have a movie night?
Yeah, we doing a movie night at the drive-in movie theater.
Oh, you was telling me about that.
Yeah.
You haven't mentioned it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's up.
Call a movie Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll call it Minneapolis. And then because I want to clip it, but I also want to put out a preview so people can actually see it. Oh shit, it's about to get real.
Cool.
That's gonna be legit.
All right.
That is gonna make a lot of people emotional though.
Absolutely. Hey, there's a problem.
It's an absolute problem.
We're not just making this up. There's a big problem.
It's a huge problem. But people they try to ignore it, man.
Yeah. Oh no. And they want to feel good about themselves.
Here we go, 15 seconds. Hot.
I think that one of the worst things that we can do as people is disassociate ourselves from others who have a problem. When I think about the Black Lives Matter and how the movement is infiltrated by people who are destroying different communities, the reason why I know it's infiltrated because I've seen it firsthand. And I know a lot of people like to say Black Lives Matter is yada yada yada. And they want to get mad at Black Lives Matter, but let me tell you, those are white kids that are out there destroying stuff. White, privileged kids with Republican parents, unfortunately. So as much as people hate it, as much as people don't want to admit it, that's what it is. But to disassociate ourselves from an apparent pain, a feeling that someone has, and the only way they know how to show their feelings is through destroying things, says a lot about who a lot of people are as a person. To ignore them and to disassociate ourselves, to make these people feel like they're less than anyone else because their voices is not being heard, makes us, in my opinion, a terrible person. To bash somebody because you don't agree with their opinion, to ridicule someone because they don't subscribe to your ideology, that makes you a terrible person. And I say that with pure impunity. It makes you a terrible person. And the reason why is because it shows that you failed to take time to study and understand what people are going through. You think that everybody is supposed to agree with you, and it's not true. They don't have to. They don't have to agree with you. They don't have to like you. They don't have to do what you say. They don't have to do things the way you feel things need to be done. They say the definition of insanity is do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And that's absolutely true. So if the way you've been voting in politics has been the same for a very long time, and you think something is supposed to change, you're insane. If you've been a one-way Republican for a very long time and you think things are supposed to change, then you are insane. If you live in an inner city and your inner city has been ran by Democrats for a very long time and you think something is supposed to change, then you're insane. Life is about balance. The yin and the yang, not just the yin and not just the yang. If you put too much salt on food, then your food becomes salty. If you put too much pepper on your food, then your food becomes disgusting. You have to have balance. You need the same amount of Democrats as you need Republicans. Life is all about balance. And if you don't believe me, try standing up on one leg and see how long that's going to last. Sit in a chair with 3 legs. We have to have balance. That's what life is about. So I appreciate the support that we've been getting from across the United States on our race. And I know that everyone is not going to agree with everything that I say or everything that I do. But everything that I do and say is for a reason. And whether we get support from the NRCC, the CAGOP, the RNC, LAGOP or not, I'm still going to be a Republican. I'm still going to be running in this race, and we're still going to win. Because I come from the U.S. military, who has a tradition of winning and never losing. That's the ideology that I subscribe to. I subscribe to a winning ideology. An ideology where they used to say, you come from the inner cities, you make it to 25, and you make it, then you're golden. That's me. I'm a Cali boy from South Central Los Angeles. I'll see you guys next week.
Mike, appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you.
Got it. He's limping. He's dead now.
He got caught between his bones, couldn't get out.
So Tuesday, Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday, yeah, we'll be all day. I'm like, have you been to the other studio where our tech?
Are you talking about your father's place?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I've
You
been
been there?
the one out in Santa Fe Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
All right, that's where we'll be at.
Okay.
I like them myself.
Huh?
I like them myself.
You know, it really don't matter to me.
Kind of brothers.
At the end of the day, it gotta be done, right?
Just saying how it felt. Some people don't like by themselves. Some people like by themselves. People prefer it. Like me, I prefer to be by myself. You know what I mean?
I understand that.
So yeah, just saying what you like.
I don't, personally, I don't care, man. As long as I entertain the people. But then we've been doing so good for so long, I gotta throw some salt to make people pissed off. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. That's the hard part. I did a podcast the other day, and I got back on Candace and Brandon, so I think I'm gonna cut that video out and put it and make people mad, because my followers will, people get mad. Then I turn around and make them happy again.
Yeah.
I do the
If
shit
you're
all-
not shaking shit up, then,
Mhm.
you know, if it's not controversial, you're not winning. Yeah, that dude came up and he said, hey, I want to support. Well,
Yeah.
let's tap on it.
Yeah, he came during the witch
Yeah.
hunt, so I was pretty
Yeah.
good.
But I want to say to him, okay, get us 50 guys from the inner city, and let's register Republican. Yeah. And, you know, photo op. Joe is welcoming these cats into the Republican Party. That will go viral.
I think that's starting to become like really the shift. Well, at least in California. I was in Milwaukee. They don't have you would think like everybody thinks like, okay, it's starting to be forward thinking.